It's been just over 2 months since Tropical Cyclone Debbie hit the North Queensland coast. Many residents in the Whitsundays are still rebuilding their lives. And while roofs can be patched and walls replastered, there's no papering over the trauma of being hit by a Category 4 storm. Rachel Rieger reports.
Hideaway Bay in North Queensland is a work in progress, with locals rebuilding their lives in the wake of Cyclone Debbie.
What a mess, but at least I suppose things are happening.
This was once Tony and Avril Aileen's dream home. It's now a construction site.
Yeah, it's all stripped out. That's good.
But in late March, as the storm hit, they feared their planned tropical retirement would prove the death of them.
It was a very scary, terrifying thing to be through, and I felt that I could have died quite a few different times, but you're in that kind of state where you've given that up. If that happens, well, yeah, surrendered to that.
The slow-moving Category 4 system battered the Whitsunday Islands before making landfall near Airlie Beach, packing wind gusts of 260 kilometres per hour. The initial impact smashed homes, farms, businesses and boats. And then came the rain. At least 8 people lost their lives in flooding as Debbie swept down through Queensland and into New South Wales.
It's the 6th cyclone that I've been through in Queensland, and that was far worse than anything I've ever been through in my entire life.
Residents in Hideaway Bay and Dingo Beach have been cut off for days.
They ran for their lives as the cyclone tore their home to shreds.
The ABC first visited Avril Aileen 2 days after Debbie crossed. She was still trying to comprehend what had happened.
The whole house just started booming, literally boom, boom, as each gust just sort of smashed into the house. Just so... I'm surprised the whole house is here.
Across the region, others were similarly traumatised.
This is the house when the wind hit from that side. It's come in, the whole decking has burst. That's why it's all bouncing around, and that's gone. That house has moved to 2 inches, and that house there's about another inch coming in.
Jack Lumbey lives at Gregory River, halfway between Proserpine and Bowen. He lost half his house in the cyclone, and ruined possessions still sit piled in his front yard.
Bit heartbreaking. The wife went through and got all the photos and that sort of thing, but it's we were okay, and the things that really mattered to us were okay.
It's a slow process, but Jack spends each day sorting through the ruins to see what can be saved.
Bought about 30 of these plastic tubs, and we're putting them across there as we go back, which what used to be the master bedroom. That's also one of our dry rooms in there. So that's the things that did make it through, or it's as good as it's going to get. We couldn't throw out their very special keepsakes.
Recently, he received good news, reaching an agreement with his insurance company on a payout for the damaged house.
I can start the rebuilding process, or at least have the mental rebuilding process. Takes a lot off my shoulders. That's the building. I've still got the contents to go. There's just a couple of items there I've got to finish off.
But he says he didn't expect the emotional toll the cyclone would take.
Hello, mate. How are you? What I got for you? Hey?
And he says he's not the only one still feeling a bit skittish.
Okay. Mate, I've had a problem asking for help because I'm usually helping other people, and that's probably my biggest thing. Early in the first month, it's kind of waking up in the morning and just looking at it and just feeling hopeless. Well, where the bloody hell do I start now? What do I start? What's the first thing to do for that day?
He now regularly sees a counsellor. The Mackay Hospital and Health Service says they've noticed an increase in the number of residents across the Mackay and Whitsunday regions presenting to the emergency department for mental health or anxiety-related issues. They say it's not uncommon for symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder to begin appearing 6 weeks or more after a distressing event.
How have things been in the last week or so?
Mackay councillor Mike Fry says many people are struggling in Debbie's aftermath.
You can see the trepidation straight away, and for those who woke up in the middle of the night and found their homes flooded, I think it's like that now. Every time there's really heavy rain, they're frightened. Sometimes you see people present and they can come across as being quite angry, but I think it's more just the frustration and the hurt that's been caused.
He says the event can compound past traumas.
To reach out for help is really difficult for them now, and plus the hardship from the cyclone is just another layer of hardship on top of what they've already got, and quite often they struggle. They're maybe not as resilient as most people, so you know what knocks most of us down knocks them out.
Yeah, that's where some of the water came through, all the electrical.
Yeah, down through the fans.
Tony and Avril Ailing say they've come to terms with Debbie, and she didn't cost them anything that can't be fixed.
To me, it's actually just a house, so on one level I've let it go.
They say their insurance claim is close to being signed off, and soon they'll begin rebuilding their home.
They've stripped out all the electrical appliances. They've stripped out all the wet ceiling or the remains of the ceiling and walls that were damaged and the floor that was damaged. So we're sort of in a shell of a house really and waiting for the repairs, and looks like we've just about finalised that process.
But half an hour away, Jack Lumbey says it could be time for him to downsize and move closer to town.
I thought I'd just have to shift with a semi-trailer. Now we can shift with the little vans, so we'll have to make up our minds. My family's back together tomorrow and we're having a meeting to see what we're going to do.